Welcome back to a Clinch Fight podcast where we have just been watching UFC 264, the rubber match between Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor. When there's Conor McGregor, there is controversy and
plenty of it.
Yeah, unfortunately, not the way we all wanted the fight to go. But nevertheless, it happened. For those of you who don't know, Dustin Poirier won the fight with a doctor's decision, I think it's called.
Doctor's stoppage.
Doctor's stoppage, sorry.
Classed as a TKO, though.
Classed as a TKO. He broke his ankle. Really strange one, actually. Poirier claimed in his interview afterwards that he'd already fractured it from checking a leg kick. But McGregor, when you watch the replay, McGregor kind of misses a punch, I think it was, wasn't it all? And then his leg kind of goes back to position and then kind of just snaps.
He kind of just rolls on it and it just goes.
It was a really strange one.
To be honest.
I just want to hear your thoughts, really. What happened before that, leading up to the incident?
McGregor came out doing what he needed to do. He started throwing kicks. He was mixing it up.
Yeah,
he was disguising the left hand. He did get caught once, which stung him a bit. And Poirier said in post-fight interview as well that McGregor caught him with a left, which stung him a bit as well and rang his bells. But he was mixing it up well. And then when Poirier clipped him, he clinched up and decided when Poirier put him against the cage to jump guard and go for a guillotine, which against someone like Dustin Poirier, he's a black belt in BJJ, he's very high level. It was never really going to get it. It was a bad move. He got mauled on the floor and then stood up for the last 10 seconds and breaks his leg.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, like the fight just, it wasn't going McGregor's way at all, in my opinion.
No.
I think the first 30 or 40 seconds, maybe a minute, if you're being generous, McGregor looked good like he always does, comes out sharp, comes out fast. But like I said before the fight, if you watched our live video, I knew McGregor would come out fast. He always does. He always seems to win the first round in most of his fights. However, definitely did not win the first round of that one. Might have won the first minute. But
and then he got mauled.
Poirier just weathered the short storm, or whatever you want to call it, McGregor had, and just like you said, he mauled him.
And then wasn't very graceful in defeat either, calling Poirier's wife a hoe.
No,
he said that the fight isn't over and they'll take it outside if he has to. So there is no good. All this whilst having a broken ankle or a broken leg, whatever he's broke.
Yeah,
he's still managing to do this.
You got to give McGregor his props with a broken ankle in probably the most unreal pain while he's on the floor. He still finds time to throw the insults out there
and challenge you with the fights outside.
Yeah, that's just that's your typical Conor McGregor.
That is McGregor.
Let's start with McGregor, who was unfortunately was the loser tonight. What next for McGregor? Where does he go from here? It's a strange one, isn't
it? I don't know. How long is he going to be out for? Will he bother coming back after, he doesn't need to come back. And now a nasty break like that, might make him think, do you know what? I'll just go and enjoy the rest of my life. And just flying around the planet and doing whatever I want.
Yeah, I mean, as a competitor, and as a former world champion, you like to think that he wants to go on a victory, doesn't he? I think he will. I
think he wants to get that belt and then just retire there and then. And say, I retired with the belt. I retired as champion.
But I just, like you said, a year out now of his career, I think that could be the last of him. I think it could be. I don't know really.
I don't think he'll
so hard to
come
back from this. How old is McGregor now? 32?
32.
But he's done so much in his career. 32 doesn't seem that old, but
that's the thing we were saying during the fight. Like the shot that Poirier rocked him a bit with 5-6 years ago when he was a bit younger, he walks through those shots, he eats it, and then he hits you back twice as hard and knocks you out. You can't take those shots anymore.
Like some people can come into their prime in their 30s, but he looked like an old 32 in there before tonight. He looked like
Poirier is in his prime right now.
Yeah.
Maybe
he's
coming towards the tail end of it because of the age, but he is in his prime, whereas McGregor has passed his prime and he is now on the decline.
Yeah, and I think Poirier's ready for that world title now. I think he's ready to become champion.
Yeah.
I think
I think he beats Oliveira as well.
Yeah, I think he does as well. And I think I think shout out to Poirier. I think McGregor, I don't know where he goes really. In terms of MMA, I don't know where he goes, but in terms of the brand, Conor McGregor, the world is always his oyster. He can do what he wants. If he wants to go into boxing, he could do that. If he wants to become a pop star, if he wants to do whatever he wants. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what? In a weird way, because you could see how that fight was going and the way it stopped, the way it did, I think it did McGregor a favor. I think if the fight was to continue to the later rounds and he got mauled again, and then got stopped by the referee pulling Poirier off him, I think that would have done more damage to his reputation than now. You can just say, well, he broke his ankle, he couldn't keep fighting, and I think that, in a weird way, is the best way for him to go out now, because there's no point risking his health, and he doesn't need to risk his health for the money, and that's a good way to go out.
Yeah, I mean, the man is rich beyond belief. Like, there's being rich, and then there's the word he has is he'll be a billionaire, won't he?
His kids will be rich.
Yeah, he will be a billionaire in probably 10 years' time, I'd imagine. If his whiskey brand and other investments he's got continue to grow.
He sold his whiskey for a couple $100 million.
There we go.
And he's still obviously receiving some sort of royalties from it because he's still the face of it.
Yeah, and I mean, the guy doesn't need to fight again. But I mean, the only thing is, when you're a fight, we've never fought at his level, but being the competitor he is, I wouldn't be surprised if he does make a comeback of some sort.
You just want to fight.
Yeah.
You just want to compete. And especially when you're at his level, there is nothing else in the world that is going to give him that feeling than when he goes for those fights. And I think that's why you see all these legends coming back to fight, because they get bored. They realize that there is nothing else in life that will match going into a ring and fighting another man until one of you is unconscious.
I tell you, on that subject, have you ever watched Mike Tyson's hot boxing with Mike Tyson? He's recently done one with Oscar De La Hoya, and he said the same thing. He said the reason why he's, it's well documented, Oscar's coke addiction and the drink he does. He says that there's no other. He says boxing is the only thing that is his purpose. Is the only, and then that was taken away from him. He had to retire. And he struggled ever since. He said his happiness comes from just boxing. And
although I think the difference though with McGregor is he's a very good businessman as well.
Yeah.
So he can go out and he can start putting his time into all his businesses, and that could take away the desire and the need almost to go and compete.
I think it needs to. I think he needs something that's gonna take away from fighting now. I personally, I don't want to be negative. I know McGregor's got that hardcore loyal fan base out there that don't want to hear this. They just want to see McGregor fight, and they visualize the day when he wins that belt back.
Glory days. I think the glory days can still come back, but I think the glory days are gone.
Yeah, they all clinch onto that little bit of hope that McGregor's gonna win that belt back. I don't think McGregor's been at that level for about 2 or 3 years now, in my opinion. No. I don't think he has been. But let's when Conor McGregor events, we're always going to want to talk about McGregor. That's what everyone wants to hear. Let's move on to the winner here, Dustin Poirier, because again, he came in. I wouldn't say the underdog this time. It was more of a 50-50.
He was a favorite for this fight.
Yeah, but still, he wasn't the fan favorite. Once again, he's not.
No,
he's never really. People aren't tuning in to watch Dustin Poirier.
He was getting booed during his post-fight interview.
Exactly. Like, people aren't tuning in to watch Poirier. They're tuning in to watch McGregor. But we're going to talk about Poirier. Another good performance, despite really what happened, the controversy. Had a very good opening round.
He's a hard man to dislike.
He is. He really is.
But he came out, he weathered those first few shots. He started throwing back, and then he took it to the floor, and he just did exactly what he needed to do.
He looks big at the weight, Poirier. He looks like a big lightweight, doesn't he? He looks like he can make welterweight.
Probably, but he's only 5'9", is the only thing.
True. Yeah, but yeah, excellent performance. I mean, that first round couldn't have gone much better, really, for him, could it? Apart from getting tagged a couple of times at the start, which is always going to happen because McGregor's stand-up is as good as anyone's.
McGregor tags everyone at the start of the fight.
Exactly.
He's got energy and he's ready to go.
Yeah.
And then he fades. And you can see if that fight was going to continue into the next round, when they got up from the takedown, McGregor was tired already. So that second round, I wouldn't have been surprised if it went into the second round. We would be sat here talking about how Poirier TKO'd him with shots or KO'd him.
It was leading to that, I think. I think it was leading to a second round TKO. I think it really was. But yeah, a great performance from Poirier again. And another world title shot should be for him next now against Oliveira, I don't know how you pronounce it, but I think he's got a very good chance on that if he gets.
Oliveira is still a very dangerous fighter. He has the most submissions in UFC history, but I just feel like at the moment the momentum behind Poirier and also he's just got too much. I think for anyone at lightweight.
Yeah, and obviously now Khabib's gone. He's had that experience fighting Khabib. He's had that taste of it. He was very close. He won the interim belt, but I think now it's his time now. I think it's written for him to win that lightweight belt now, and
it's deserved as well. To be fair,
it is. It's well deserved. He's really done he's been in the UFC for such a long time as well, hasn't he? And he's really worked his way up. And I mean, he could have called the day really when McGregor done him. That could have been it for him during back in the first fight. And that was and at the time for both of them, that was such a big fight, wasn't it?
I mean, so when people lose to McGregor, that tends to be the resurgence of their career. When Max lost to him, Max then went on absolute tear and went up to win the title. When Dustin lost to him, Dustin then went on a mad win streak as well.
Didn't McGregor did his ACL in the Holloway fight, didn't he?
Yeah.
Still, that was what a win. That's. I mean, I don't want to go back to McGregor straight away, but what a win. That's overlooked, that win. That's very good win, that was. But that's the thing. But that goes back to the point of Conor McGregor. Like, he did his ACL there and found a way to win. Like, that was the Conor McGregor during the prime that we know. And that McGregor's gone now. He's done. Like, he needs to find something that's going to give him closure away from combat sports. Or, if he wants to do a little bit of boxing, the stupid, retired fighters league or whatever, I think that could suit him.
Yeah.
With all due respect.
Or a Manny Pacquiao fight.
Or a Manny Pacquiao fight, yeah. Do you know
if
what I mean?
Pacquiao loses to Spence.
Or, a Floyd rematch or something stupid, do you know what I mean? Like, or Logan, Jake Paul.
There we say it, Jake Paul.
Jake Paul. Mate.
Do you know what? I don't think he'd give Jake Paul a fight just on principle. I don't think he does think that Jake Paul would deserve the fight. And because of that, I don't think he'd give it to him.
Hey, what would you rather watch? Right. McGregor, this Manny Pacquiao, or McGregor, this Jake Paul?
Do you know why I'm going to say McGregor versus Manny Pacquiao? Because if Jake Paul even has a puncher's chance of beating McGregor, I don't want to see it. just because you never fucking know what can happen.
I'd rather see Jake Paul. I can't believe I'm saying this. I'd rather see McGregor fight Jake Paul.
We'll see what happens after the Tyron Woodley fight with Jake Paul.
Yeah. Please.
On that note, I think we're veering off the
we are veering off now.
No, so I think we'll wrap it up there. We have partnered with Manscaped as well. 20% off with the code CLINCH and free shipping. Best in the business for ball sack trimmers.
Yep.
So head over to their website. Links will be in description. Linktree will be in the description as well with all of our socials. Anything else, Mike?
Social medias, Manscaped, and just please subscribe to us if you enjoyed the content. Also like the video as well, because it really helps us to get noticed. It helps us to grow our channel.
And August 14th, we'll be looking to do another live stream for UFC London. So absolutely. That'll be a more appropriate time instead of 5 in the morning.
Yeah, hopefully you won't have to set an alarm for 3 a.m. again. But yeah, peace out, guys. Thank you for your support as ever.